possibly could be. So the only thing that will make it better is, of course, he wins.
Absolutely. So, Manatide Totem, I haven't seen that yet out of his Shaman deck. That's a cool choice. I might even keep that. Pretty strong early against Druid.
Okay, well, he opts to get a better early board presence. Double Haunted Creeper is okay, but his curve after that.
Okay, that's the dream, man. That's like the that's the only card you should keep with that deck. That's how important it is. It's like huge, and the fact that Chakki doesn't have a wild growth, doesn't really have a great curve here, is a big deal. This might be. Man, I know this is over. This is saying a lot.
Jeez, Ray.
No, it's not. I'm not saying it's over. Right.
He knows you so well.
I'm just saying this might actually be oh boy, a game where a game where Shaman wins. I was gonna say, but
you put the good old Rainhead curse on.
I try, man.
On that top deck.
You know, you're absolutely right about the impact of Haunted Creeper. It feels somewhat innocuous, just because it's a 1/2 body, but that Flame Tongue Totem in conjunction with it is so devastating.
Oh man, that wild growth into lore draw, that's huge. And Chakki's just all of a sudden having a pretty fantastic opening. We'll see if the... Oh, he's drawing here.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Another wild growth.
He might be punished because of this with the Flame Tongue Totem.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a way to remove it, and I mean, it kind of hurts if you're... A Flame Tongue Totem allows just like Haunted Creeper tokens or Haunted Creeper and something else, even a totem, to trade up into an Ancient of Lore.
He's going to be on 3 more mana than his opponent.
Definitely. Harvest Golem's a pretty solid draw, though. You know, Shaman, when it gets a good curve of early Death Rattle minions, it really just allows it to establish itself on the board and get insane value out of cards like Flame Tongue.
Wow. Wow, that curve. Ancient of Lore with Dr. Boom and Ragnaros.
I guess I play the turn 4 Boom. It's not bad, right? I mean,
well, last time it happened, Dark Onyx didn't actually end up winning the game because SilentStorm had the perfect answer with Big Game Hunter and 2 Mortal Coils.
Maybe you actually Ragnaros first to bait the Hex, because Ragnaros is really just super weak against Shaman. Yeah, I like this play.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Use this to bait the Hex. And if I'm the Shaman, I wouldn't even Hex it if I had it. I would just let him keep Ragnaros.
And 2 targets on the board is actually the most reasonable board that you're going to be able to play Ragnaros against a Shaman. Just because a lot of times, like you said, it's pretty bad just because sometimes it'll just hit a totem, which is the worst feeling in the world.
Chakki doesn't have access to swipe, though, so if he goes double Flame Tongue here, these spiders might wreck him.
Spiders will wreck him. Because just look at how much adjacent damage it gets. You can clear the Ragnaros this way.
Clear the Ragnaros and not only not take any power off the board, but even add an additional power on the board.
Oh man, so swipe or bust, I guess.
Whoa.
Alright, well, Innervate's going to let him hero power the Harvest Golem token down if he wants to do that. But I'm pretty sure you have to develop Dr. Boom here.
Yeah, because the Ancient of Lore gets contested way too easily by just the 2 ghost spiders things.
Drawing that Innervate is huge. Without that, like, the damaged golem plus a spider would have just been able to trade into the boom. So that or swipe were the best draws, I think.
I mean, it still is depending on what's drawn here, because he has access to coin, right? So he can coin Fire Elemental.
Yeah, that's very strong. It is going to... Ooh.
Oh.
Whoa. Hello.
Well met.
Well
Thank
met
you.
Indeed. Thank you. Hex on Dr. Boom is pretty much the ideal lineup, especially since Ragnaros is already down. That's 2 of Druid's biggest minions out there. And you can Earthshock one of the Boom bots as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a Hex here. It's kind of scary to play Fire Elemental next to a Flame Tongue because it does give Big Game Hunter a target in a lot of cases where it wouldn't. But we know that the Shaman deck's already playing Dr. Boom of its own. It's playing Neptulon. There are a lot of other Big Game Hunter targets. So even if that did happen, that would be fine because the other minions would survive later on.
And he gets the Boombot damage to the face.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's really big.
It's really big.
You can tell that SilentStorm is a very experienced Shaman player, putting Haunted Creeper on the left side because totems and wolves spawn on the right. Just want to maximize Flame Tongue value that way by putting your most resilient stuff on the left for those of you who play Shaman at home.
For all 12 of them?
All 12 of you guys. Never forget.
Shaman's actually still surprisingly pretty decent, though. like sometimes if you underestimate it, and it's for like these reasons where it's able to collect pretty good value. He has to use Force of Nature to try and clear up this board. That is painful because you're giving initiative straight up back to Shaman.
Yeah, Chakki recognizes that playing lore on that kind of board would just, it's basically like throwing away the minion part of the Ancient of Lore. You're only really getting the cards, and nobody likes 7-mana Arcane Intellect. So he's going to opt for that. Just a great hand, honestly, for Shaman. A lot of high-impact spells. I'm sure he's going to play Anti-Keelbot.
Yeah. Ooh.
Really? Oh, just wants more pressure. Okay. Personally, I like always getting value out of the Battle Cry, but yeah. Boulder Fist Ogre. Get him.
You never know if the damage ends up becoming relevant with Alakir in hand.
Yeah, definitely.
So he draws into the final bits of damage.
It's definitely not a bad play. Just super aggressive. You know, Flame Tongues are gone, so that BGH isn't going to be able to kill Fire Elemental, but if Neptulon or Dr. Boom are drawn, Chakki has an out to that now. Interesting. So he's going to choose the Totem instead of...
Got a pretty good shot at killing us straight off.
That's a pretty much a guarantee of killing it. Ah, but he didn't roll high enough. That's
slightly disappointing.
Slightly.
Well, I mean,
that's very disappointing.
He did get the spell power totem, so like,
yeah,
he got lucky enough to get that. But
this might be our first Druid of the day that we've seen with 2 copies of Force of Nature.
Yeah, the reason being because if you're trying to make cuts and protect, the second Force of Nature often just becomes a removal spell or some damage, and in which case you can, I mean, the second Savage Roar is oftentimes more utilized for the game-ending damage as opposed to second Force of Nature. Not to mention it's really expensive sometimes.
I think we're going to see a Wrath get cycled here. No, he's going to continue saving it. Interesting.
Both dead.
All right. Jungle Panther is down. I can take out Fire Elemental with the help of Wrath.
I mean,
also just threatening lethal.
He just needs something to stick, but that Antique Hillbot will be pretty clutch.
Definitely.
I'm kind of surprised that last turn SilentStorm ended up rolling a totem instead of developing the anti-Keelbot, because only the lowest Crackle outcome would make it necessary, and only if you rolled Spell Power Totem. But that's exactly what happened, so it actually worked out better for him to have done it that way. But in like 9 out of 10 outcomes, I think playing the 3/3 a turn before would have been better. Alright, so has he done math?
I believe that's 27 damage.
13 is 27. Yep.
He's exactly 1 damage off lethal. And he knows Chakki already used Innervates. So it's unlikely that he has an opportunity to kill him here.
Time for a defensive Force Savage Roar, I think. Maybe you just cycle Wrath, though.
Yeah, you can put BGH into the Fire Elemental.
There's really not that much pressure once that's off the table, but that Alakir might just end up bursting Chakki out of this game. We haven't seen a single Rockbiter yet. It's definitely a potential for that to be drawn.
He's got Wrath. He's got Wrath to try to cycle, but I mean, even if he gets a taunt, the Earthshock can allow him to bypass that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a couple outs that SilentStorm can have just to completely win the game on the next turn.
He needs any way to do damage.
Yeah.
Drake is not a bad pickup at all. Lets him develop something a little bit more mana efficiently than Piloted Shredder.
I like the attack on the 1/1 Searing Totem as well. You don't want to increase his chances of getting like a Taunt Totem and making your life difficult.
Pretty clean clear here with Alakir, if he wants it.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's the most mana efficient play as well. Not to mention you put again your opponent on potential kill if you can't deal with it.
Chakki needs to dodge the second Crackle if there is one.
Have to imagine that there is though.
Yeah.
Usually you play Crackles and Lightning Bolts in pairs exclusive to the other, right? Unless, I mean, some people actually play some Lightning Bolts too. In fact, if you're playing the aggressive Mech Shaman, you play Crackle and Lightning Bolt.
I mean, that's just the case with all of these underplayed classes like Shaman and Priest. One of the reasons they're so underplayed is because a really refined version of the deck just hasn't come out yet. So you see a lot of variety in
No
the
one's
deck
figured it out
list.
yet.
Of the players who choose to play them, it's always very different.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy because GVG didn't really change Shaman much, except for the aggressive mech Shaman, like the standard mid-range Shaman.
Sure.
Didn't do too much to it. Like they still run like the Haunted Creepers and the Harvest Golem as their sort of go-to early drops. Sometimes they put in those piloted shredders, but
Defender of Argus. What does that change? Lets you kill the front half of a Sludge Belcher. Is that really the play over Feral Spirit? Probably not. Feral Spirit does give you another totem. I'd like to see a totem before the Feral Spirit. I think you want the totems next to each other.
Yep. I think the healing totem would be pretty nice too. Although Taunt does keep him alive a little bit longer.
But Azure Drake is huge. Just letting Shaman play 2 things per turn plus develop a totem is definitely kind of forced Chakki to keep drawing Ancient Allures or just like large threats basically, so he doesn't run out of resources. Oh, there we go. That Drake is huge.
yes.
If that Drake picks up another useful card, I mean, some swipes would be useful too to start pushing through these totems.
I don't think we've seen any swipes so far.
Now, swipe would be insane. It's a very high chance he draws one here.
Yeah.
And very high is still like 20. Oh,
Really?
Well, would the
Force
swipe
nature
matter
comp.
as much? Because he still wouldn't be able to clear off anything extra than just a 4 damage swipe.
I guess this gives him really clean trades in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You kill the Drake, the Wolves, you're still left with 2 threats. I like this play a lot.
For the wild.
Just deciding what to put damage on at this point.
yeah.
Think,
And then you can use the Drake to outcard the Shaman. Gain advantage. Actually very intelligent, you're right.
Yeah, I thought about throwing the
Go.
Keeper in there, but it would have taken damage as opposed to just throwing the Force of Nature in there, which would have died anyway, so.
Oh, Doomhammer.
Now, is Chakki one of the Druids that's been playing Harrison in this tournament? Because a lot of players have.
I don't know. But one thing's for sure, SilentStorm is feeling a lot more confident getting through the hard way because his opponent just used a combo.
That's true. With 2 Force of Natures down, you don't have to worry about the burst anymore. It's all about attrition now.
Oh,
Jeez.
oh, that was the next card.
Wow.
Looks really good for Druid, though. 2 massive threats coming down.
Yeah.
And Shaman doesn't have much to work with. Although,
I mean, does he have enough time, though?
there's no taunt. All he needs is a Rock Biter.
That's true.
Or Crackle.
Or
Yeah.
Crackle.
Or a second Fire Elemental.
Or Bolt, if he plays
Or
that.
Bolt.
There's so many outs.
I mean, he's got a good board, but this could be the moment.
Ooh.
I
Not
mean,
it.
it's
Just has to
it's a
survive.
board. Yeah, it stalls.
2 health. That's all you can ask for there.
Because the most he can do is armor up anyways. So then you Fire Elemental to face. Crackle to face.
I was worried that mechanics would get the best of him there, and it would jump to the left a little. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Is this lethal?
Oh, that's a lot of damage. 10, 20, 21 damage.
Not quite. Oh my God. I think SilentStorm just won the game.
Wait. What if he gets a taunt with the,
Yeah, he needs to trade Shredder,
the Shredder?
or else he just dies on board.
Right.
Yeah.
I love these 1 out of 60 rolls that we get so often with Pilot Shredder
it
being
might
so...
happen, right? If he gets Vitality Totem and he like clears the board and he just heals up to 5.
Yeah.
Can he do it?
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, Chakki is not amused. And that's going to wrap up game number 1. Because he can't survive. This Doomhammer's too much.
Oh, jeez.
SilentStorm strikes first blood.
Well, we said it. Chakki,
Yeah.
he still has the Freeze Mage, and that deck seems like it's pretty strong against this lineup of SilentStorm, but it's glad to see that SilentStorm finally finds a win.
I know.
With
Yeah,
that
that
Shaman
Shaman.
deck.
February 22nd, man, will forever be immortalized as the day that Shaman won a game in a tournament.
Sacrifice your own Void Caller.
Freeze Mage is just great against decks that are full of answers. Priest is sort of the same way, too.
I would definitely keep Doomguard here and slam it turn 5. But maybe that's just me.
Well, the Void Caller is also a good card to have in early game, but like you said, Doomguard might be one of those pressure cards that you really want early on, just because it does absorb that Fireball and something extra.
Look at all this tribal demon synergy here.
Yeah. Blizzard sitting there in the back, super excited, chattering amongst themselves.
Mage is about to be slowly pecked down for like 20 life or something by 1/3s.
How much experience do you think SilentStorm has against Freeze Mage with this Warlock deck?
Can't
It
be
can't be very.
much.
Yeah, it can't be much.
I would actually peg it at exactly 0.
Acolyte of Pain, natural predator of Voidwalker. Well, where's Abusive Sergeant when you need him? He's got a life tap. Hey! Outplayed.
You do it on the Mistress of Pain and gain life, right?
Yeah, value. Gaining life's pretty relevant here. The first 15, not so much necessarily because of Alex, but a lot of times because of life tap, Freeze Mage isn't even forced to play Alex, so staying above 20 at least encourages them to spend a whole turn devoted to that.
Yeah, when you don't have anything else to do on turn 3, secrets are okay as well, but pretty suboptimal because you prefer to be drawing cards and letting Mad Scientist pull the secrets instead.
Another thing that about this deck that makes it weak against Freeze Mage is what are you going to Implosion?
Well, Abusive Sergeant probably.
Yeah, or you can
Implosion your own creatures,
egg.
but I mean,
Oh, you definitely want to leave Egg alive. That
Yeah,
protects you
you're
from
right.
AoE.
That's true, actually. It's good against Flame Strike and Blizzard.
it's tough. I mean, Voidwalker as well, but it seems like you're trading 1 power for not very much more power.
Great
It seems really
positioning
weird.
here, by the way. Putting the Nerubian Egg in the middle against Cone of Cold. Definitely a solid play.
Yeah, so that way you damage the egg a little bit. You're trying to freeze some minions. And the reason why he put it there too is because it's easy to pick off the Abusive Sergeant versus somewhere else.
I like this play. He's just going to give him the Nerubian and kind of chain freezes into that Flame Strike.
Big Game Hunter, I guess it's useful against Alexstrasza if
Yeah.
he needs it.
Yeah.
In fact, Big Game Hunter on the Alexstrasza plus the Antique Healbot is very important in terms of how you fight against the Freeze Mage 2-turn kill.
Definitely a strong play. He's going to choose not to play the Void Caller and just life tap instead. Because that Sheep kind of gives away that Chakki's planning to chain AoE, so you don't really need to develop the 3-4, and he also just doesn't have a demon yet for it.
Mistress of Pains could end up being pretty valuable. This first one maybe not so much because it's going to get killed off, but that the life gain is sort of unnoticeable at first, but those things you don't tend to focus them a lot with removal, and you tend to just ignore them for a while, but that 1 damage heal can add up over time, especially against Freeze Mage.
Defender Vargas is going to make this
strong.
board way better against Flame Strike, which is a very powerful card. Keeps the pressure up.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where it's good to a straight-up Flame Strike, but Blizzard will soften it up first.
Mm-hmm.
Do some nice padding.
One of the awkward parts, though, being the Demon Lock player, where your hand just becomes full of these reactive cards, like Implosions and Dark Bombs, and you can't really keep pressuring the Freeze Mage player.
Right.
And you have to save the anti-heal bots.
my
That's
God.
a really good card.
Oh,
He's back in it. Wow.
Yeah. Because the Lotheb shuts down the ability to AoE this, and then he might be able to damage for the win. Unless, is Ice Block up?
I don't think so.
So if he
slam
Lothebs
it.
now,
he actually has a lot of damage from his hand next turn as well. He's got
Right.
Power Overwhelming,
he has 14
plus
on
Dark
board.
Bomb.
Yeah, 14 on board plus Dark Bomb, that's 7.
At least 2 of it's getting pinged off, I
21.
think. Maybe even a defensive Ice Lance here.
You can't do both, though. Oh, are you saying one or the other?
One or the other, yeah.
Well, when you have a hand full of spells and Lotheb comes down, you're just going to pass. You're just going to have a bad time.
Every single card is red but Alexstrasza. And you can't even play that anyway.
Lotheb just doesn't like fun very much, does he?
I think he's having fun.
Is he?
Yeah. I mean, what if you just Frostbolt the Rubian then, or you can Frostbolt even Lotheb, so that way Flame Strike becomes better. I guess it doesn't really stop too much more though, compared to just pinging. You might as well just save that.
All right, so 19 points available. Oh, geez. Mal'Ganis.
Well, how problematic does Mal'Ganis become? Because you said it can be taken out with just a fireball and a ping, but one turn delay can sometimes be enough to sort of swing it in your favor.
If he just plays Void Collar, like all of a sudden now Chakki has to chain Frost Novas. You can't Flame Strike.
Right. You have to actually make sure you don't kill it.
I would Dennis the Dark Bomb right there too. Just use the mana.
2 years later, he still can't escape that, huh?
Oh man.
Poor Dennis. It's even a good play.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got so much burn. Like,
What to do? What to do?
can he go 4 away for stalling and then Alex draws and just try to keep chain burning and hopefully get not let his opponent kill him?
He's gonna set up this Lotheb to die to Flame Strike. Think so. Plans to freeze the Mal'Ganis after the fact.
How do you? Oh, I guess you frostbolted or ice lance.
Yeah.
Still so much burn though.
It's definitely a ton of damage he's sitting on. Chakki's just doing math right now.
Yeah, here's also an interesting thing too. If SilentStorm like taps and then
He's
Chakki
dead.
draws into Thanos, he's actually dead.
Yeah. And there's so many dead cards in SilentStorm's hand right now. He can't really play Sylvanas. Can't really play Implosions.
Yeah.
With things frozen, power overwhelming, he needs to save anti-Killbot and BGH. He's got a full hand, but really not many things that he could put down.
All right, well, Dr. Boom's going to force the freeze every single turn from now on.
Let's see, if he Alex draws us now, puts him at 15. I mean, T Killbot would just put him up to 23. And then Chakki's going to have another ice block. I mean, it doesn't matter though, because even if he started doing damage, burn damage now, the Warlock's effectively at 30 health because of the antique heal bot.
Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't use the Alex Draza now, is he going to find an opportunity at all to be able to use it? He can Kona Cold here, but there's really not much. He'd still be able to pop the block next turn, really no matter how he lines that up. You would have to use either like Frostbolt or Ice Lance to freeze more of the damage, and even then, he'd still be able to pop it. So I think Alex Draza is really the only choice.
Definitely, that's the winning play. Still gives you a chance. It's going to force SilentStorm to actually have the heal bot as well. All right, so SilentStorm needs to make some room for minions.
Wow. It's a very good boom bot. I mean, he's going to be popping this ice block no matter what this turn.
He could actually get out Mal'Ganis while at the same time playing his heal bot.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Oh,
Also-
you're right.
And most importantly,
And pop the block.
It buffs the Voidwalker.
It does.
Get
A
him.
Voidwalker that's already buff.
That's right. That's a swole Voidwalker.
Yeah.
That swears by Odin. Broden, excuse me.
That Voidwalker needs to be tested.
Those gains.
Those games. Hello, Raynad. I've been working on this Demon Warlock deck for about 4 months now. I've been trying to get my Voidwalker to do damage, but Mal'Ganis just won't come out.
I'll this affect my Mistress of Pains.
Only 90 kids will get that. Oh, man. Chakki is screwed with a capital S. Like, how is he supposed to pull himself out of this one?
If Demon Lock beats Freeze Mage, what does it lose to?
I have no idea. I mean, we've been saying the Rogue, right? The Rogue, but Chakki doesn't have a Rogue.
Let's be honest, this was completely off the back of that Lotheb top deck that one turn,
That's
but come
true.
on, still, that's like
That Lotheb was so big.
very impressive that this deck could.
I mean, it's Mal'Ganis, dude. When you win with Mal'Ganis, it's one of the coolest feelings.
All right, Boombot being sent a message right now.
Stay where you are!
I would have pyroblasted it.
I think he's going to try to make a Doomsayer play here.
He can freeze literally everything.
The thing is...
Oh my god. He's trying to win.
Wow!
That was actually a really impressive
And
play.
everything is in range for Flame Strike.
But the problem is, if he Flame Strikes,
He's dead.
Yeah.
So, do you Mortal Coil or Implosion your own Boombot? How do you win here?
You Implosion your own boom. Oh! Well, that's it.
That's creative finish.
Crowd loving it. SilentStorm is 1 game away from being your Season 1 champion. And SilentStorm's been doing it with his own style. Can Chakki bring it back, though? We've seen comebacks. It's just very difficult considering that in the blind pick stage, you have a lot of comfort room, at least, if you're guaranteed 2 games to try and close out your opponent.
Yeah, so Chakki, I believe, has his Hunter left.
Yeah, that was Chakki's previous series, you're right.
Yeah, the old Druid that we saw like a couple weeks ago that was heavy ramp was like designed to beat like Face Hunter because you just get taunts out so quickly. It's like Senjin, Sludge Belchers, Ancient of Wars. I just stopped it in its tracks. So, but this is like Druid of the Call is your only taunt, so it's just really tough. And that draw is, I don't think, the best for the situation.
Pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Turn 2 Dr. Boom would be pretty good too. That's possible.
Not very likely. Well, we've seen it today, but
Oh, that was turn 3. That was for casuals.
Oh, okay.
Turn 2 is turn 2. You need the coin.
he actually floated a mana as well.
Yeah.
On the double innervate Dr. Boom.
It's interesting to see the lead on Worgen. I guess it makes sense to avoid the coin hero power in case there's no wild growth.
Yeah, I'm trying to weigh the benefits, but I guess it's as the game progresses, Worgen Infiltrator becomes less likely to do damage. So say you drew into this Eaglehorn Bow or an Animal Companion, and you don't get to play Worgen Infiltrator until turn 4, then it becomes collateral damage for swipe. So I guess you get the guaranteed 2 in. Versus Leopard Gnome, even if it dies, it most likely will get its damage in unless it's silenced.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In which case, if that's true, then it's like you can just tell the comfort in which Chakki knows his aggressive hunter decks.
I think this Haunted Creeper is going to deal like 6 or 7 damage. In this aggressive hunter deck, it's so good because you just never have the time to deal with it, so you're like forced to ignore it. The one issue is it's a very weak top deck, which the deck doesn't have very many of, but when you get Haunted Creeper on turn 2 with this list, it's just so brutal.
Every way that you have to deal with it is inefficient. And against a Face Hunter, you can't really be inefficient because every turn you're just losing so much health.
I think you just have to develop the Shade, look for a swipe.
Swipe would pretty much bring him back in the game here, but it's still so much pressure. Wolf Rider.
I think we're just going to see hero power pass here. There's
No
a
weapon.
chance he goes for the weapon, but it's...
I like Eaglehorn Bow here.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I'm always really conservative with my cards when I play Hunter. I'm just like so scared of running out of damage. He's even got this Owl to get through a taunt later.
Actually, if you put it that way, it would make sense. Wow, no respect for the swipe.
Now, this is actually better than Eaglehorn Bow because this forces him to have the swipe.
Yeah, well, if he swipes, I mean, he's spending his whole turn swiping. So he's not really putting anything out on the board, so you're just going to continue to put down threats. Next turn, he'd just be able to play Eaglehorn Bow, Hero Power, and just make him lose 5 more health.
Yeah, turn 5, Druid is half dead already. I think we're going to see the Companion come down here.
Yeah.
Question is, do you trade with this Shade? I guess you do. It's just too good to keep Misha alive.
It's too good, not to mention it's good against the Keeper of the Grove, and he hasn't had swipe. He would have used it. Innervate. Finally popping up.
It is important. I guess you set up a taunt and maybe Innervate the Wrath to take out Misha. Could get Dr. Boom out, but I'm pretty sure you just die if you take the 4 damage, so... This is definitely time to taunt. You could also Innervate Coin Savage Roar.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Take out one of the 1/1s along the way.
I think the coin is more valuable than killing the 1/1, though. You also take a point of damage doing that you might not necessarily have to. Yeah, saving coin would let him play like a lore next turn if he drew that, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Or just Dr. Boom, but again, if he can't play it this turn, more than likely he won't be able to play it the following turn as well.
Misha goes down. Bigger Misha stays in play on the Druid side.
Misha's daddy.
Druid of the Bear.
Where's the Ironfur Grizzly play into that family tree?
I don't know. He's like the rebellious son. He's never accepted his fate. Never lived to his potential.
Yeah.
Man, though, you're right, man. Those honest spiders did, what, 6 damage now? 5 damage?
Yep.
It's crazy. Absolute madness. And, I mean, Chakki is doing what Hunter does best here, but at the same time, how do you even win from this position if you're Druid? You really can't. He's guaranteed damage from this point on. You have no heal.
Druid of the Claw, having to attack spectral tokens.
Well, that's game.
Yeah. All right, so that was pretty well played by SilentStorm. He lived one more turn than I expected.
Yeah. Turn 7, pretty respectable. All right. Chakki stays alive.
Does. He gets to the blind pick stage, and that's going to be where he can try and make his comeback. SilentStorm, though, he's going to be within striking distance. He's still on match point as we go into phase 2 of this match.
I mean, there's a good chance SilentStorm just goes with Demon Lock, and that deck I feel like is actually pretty reasonable against.
2.
Oh wow!
Look at that
Voidwalker
opening
too.
hand.
There's Voidwalker in this deck. How do you? Oh man, this is not a good matchup for Hunter, to be honest. Voidwalker, Mistress of Pain against a deck full of 2/1s and Mortal Coil and Defender of Argus with Nerubian Egg.
You're just going through all the situations in your mind and how much work this Warlock has done, how many different decks, how many different classes it has beaten, and then every single matchup you go in, you say, oh, maybe it's reasonable, and then he has a starting hand against like Face Hunter even with Voidwalker, Mistress of Pain, and you think,
I mean, this juggler, to be fair, could put in a lot of work, right?
That's true.
Right.
You're going to play Voidwalker turn 1 if you're SilentStorm here. And then good old 3-2. Just going to get coined out, and yeah.
Glaive Zuka as well.
How important is this owl, though? Not in context of the egg, but, you know, Voidwalker, or not Voidwalkers, Void Callers.
Yeah, it's not great against Void Callers, but it's good against Defender of Argus eggs, I think, more than anything.
Okay.
In that case, it's pretty important. But yeah, I like him putting it back more.
Work an Infiltrator.
Fair enough.
So putting in a full day's work here.
This is
in
going to be
his opening hand.
so difficult for Chakki, considering the tools. But Face Hunter sometimes just finds a way to still do what they do best.
Yeah, it's definitely not impossible to win. Like, having
Right.
the free roll on the Voidwalker kill is pretty important here. Personally, I think if this is a matchup you tested hundreds of times, I think the right play is to just not even play turn 1 Voidwalker when you go first. Because the fact that it opens up this to potentially happen is super scary. I was being really conservative with that Mistress of Pain. Doesn't want to just throw it down. Doesn't want it to get juggled, I suppose. That would make it die to Eaglehorn Bow later, potentially. It's a pretty good draw, too, I think, that Haunted Creeper.
Yeah, what are you laying down? The Haunted Creeper here makes it adds a lot of power, so that way the Knife Juggler can get some good trades on. And of course, if the Animal Companion ends up being anything pretty much, whether it's Leok or Huffer, it's going to be pretty decent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mr. Spain's going to come down here and probably die to Glaive Zuka. I don't know, maybe Life Tap or Egg gets played here. I wouldn't be surprised at either of those outcomes, too.
Yeah. He doesn't have any ways to activate the first egg, but, I mean, if he draws in Defender of Argus, that's going to be nearly impossible for Chakki to get through.
Yeah, SilentStorm is being so careful with that Mistress of Pain. He really wants to get taunts down before dropping it, because he doesn't want it to just go down to an Eaglehorn Bow or a Glaive Zuka here.
Wow!
Right on time.
Is that good? Oh, man.
You know what, Raynette?
The
I think
jury
that's
is
pretty
still
good.
out on that one, but I think it's pretty good.
That's absurd. What do you even do? I mean, he
Well,
can clear it, but he's just going to leave 2 4/4s there.
I think he just Abusive Sergeant and hover him to 24. It's got to be the play.
And now it's like this point where you can't ignore the eggs.
Yeah, that's just so powerful against a strategy like this.
You want to Animal Companion first, because I think you'd want to take the damage, maybe even on the Huffer.
It challenges the Misha's challenged the Nerubians, but he doesn't have to evoke the Wrath of it just yet.
Wants to make sure he has a good way to deal with it deal with the Nerubians before he...
Oh boy.
It's a great draw too, but Unleash the Hounds off the top could really
Whoa!
punish him.
The Implosion rolling for 4 damage is the maximum you can get, summoning 4 imps.
I would like to see him send in Defender of Argus into the Misha here, because Unleash the Hounds would just be insane.
It's true.
I guess he doesn't even have the creature slots to summon 6, so you might as well just...
It's true. 6 compared to 7 dogs actually doesn't matter here, because you only can hold 4 more.
Chakki does have Explosive Trap, but he knows that... SilentStorm knows that what traps he's playing, so he'll just use those imps to just trade in and make his board stronger.
Right, and he scales so well into the later stages of the game. The big thing is that SilentStorm has to have... He knows, too, life is so important. He's avoiding tapping at all costs, which is why it's even more outrageous he's getting the draws that he is.
Well, Chakki at this point is going to have to deal 28 damage without minions. I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to have to break these eggs at some point.
Yeah.
There's some clean trades here for him, but I mean, after he goes through those eggs, he has to just go face. You can't try to control this board anymore. It's just too much. Pray for no Shadow Flame and hope for the best.
Explosive Trap, huh? Trying to reduce as much damage you can take here.
Yeah, no reason to... Well, attacking's a little better against Shadow Flame, but aside from that...
Doomguard.
Yeah, not a huge deal. And Dark Bomb's pretty strong.
He can clear everything here.
Yeah, I would
except for the
definitely...
Worgen Infiltrator.
I would definitely trade off these imps into that Haunted Creeper just to make Unleash a lot less scary.
But he also has Explosive too, so if he attacks in...
Right. Yeah, pointless not to clear them. Yeah, I think you go in and play Mistress. It's that time, because he's just going to slam Boom next turn.
I can ease your pain.
There we go.
Wow.
Chakki is in deep waters right now. He doesn't have the Unleash the Hounds, again, to punish this, and Haunted Creeper is not exactly working out for him.
Powerful draws. When you think of the
Also-
powerful draws of Hunter, it's like, what, Wolf Rider, Eaglehorn Bow, things like that.
Just not that. I mean, the Mistress of Pain will also be healing,
Yeah.
and like that weakens the hero power. It makes it like the mage hero power instead.
This doesn't look possible to recover from Chakki. It's very, very tough here. I don't know. He might have a shot, but I don't know how he would have to do it. I think Unleash the Hounds has to be involved.
Unleash the Hounds kill command.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty much exactly what it is.
He needs a very specific combination of cards over his next couple turns.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
man.
man. Well, Lotheb came and saved the day for SilentStorm in the past, but I'm pretty sure this is how he can lock it up here.
Yeah, you just slam it. Don't life tap. Go face.
And Chakki's going to be on probably his last turn here, unless something magical can pop up the top of his deck here.
I don't think there's anything that's going to save him.
No, the Explosive Trap has been used, so looks like that's it.
Well, yeah, Doomguard's going to finish it no matter how he trades here.
He can think of what can keep him alive on his end, but he goes ahead and concedes. And SilentStorm takes the win.
What a journey from this kid from Canada, coming all the way here to California. First time that he's been here, and his first offline tournament, and he went all the way. Coming in here as one of the best